So Trust's movie I watched on Paramount Plus. In the UK at least, it's called Paramount Plus exclusive. It stars Sophie Turner. It came out either last year or this year. Well, it definitely came out, as far as I know, in 2025, but apparently it may have came out in 2024, so who knows. But it's a movie about a Hollywood starlet who's emerged in a phone hacking scandal and flees to the safety of an Airbnb, I guess. A rubbish, terrible Airbnb, although it looks kind of like a mini mansion, but they keep calling it an Airbnb movie. And then winds up embroiled in a controversy because her dad she starred on the show, and dad on the show, she's been sleeping with the dad on the show. She's the dad's daughter on the show, and she may be pregnant. And then she goes to this Airbnb, and then one guy who knows she's there, two guys steal his phone, and they go there, steal some stuff, and then she gets locked in the bathroom, and then chaos ensues from there, and Katie Seagal is in it, and it just escalates, and it's a generally good movie, to be honest. It's surprisingly watchable for something which does seem to have more of a low budget in terms of it's very much set primarily in one location, although it does cut away to other places. But it's a very watchable movie. It's a thriller. It's good. And Sophie Turner does a really good job, a really difficult role, because most of it seems to be like, I'm trapped, I'm trying to escape. But it's also not, despite what this image conveys, it's not torture porn or anything like that. It's very much like a very old school thriller movie. But it's very watchable. It's on Paramount Plus. So if you're looking for something intriguing and watchable, I definitely recommend it. I would go for. I mean, I'd say I'd need to rewatch it, to be honest, in a couple of years. But my initial reactions, I'd go for 4. It was good. It was well packed, and by end I was looking to see her character survive, and that doesn't really happen very often in movies to me nowadays. I can't check out, but I did really enjoy this one. It could have done a bit more with the material, but I also liked how they kept escalating, bringing new characters in. So instead of it being like old guys who went robber being villains for the entire movie, it's like, no, we'll change, we'll bring new people in, we'll add bits and pieces to it to give it a bit more life. So it felt like it actually had a good plot, which doesn't really happen very often. So yeah, I'll go for 4 out of 5. Really enjoyed it, and if you're looking for a low stakes thriller to watch, check out. It's on Paramount Plus right now. So I was in two minds about seeing Mighty Supreme. I kind of like the trailer. I was kind of intrigued, but I also thought this looks like a weird movie, because are you generally making a movie about an eccentric ping pong player, and sort of like, oh yeah, like we're going to see him succeed, it's going to be so awesome. So I thought, like, I don't care about ping pong in the slightest, or tennis, and if you're making a general sort of pseudo biopic sort of movie of this, I don't care. Although the trailer, I like music, I thought it looked interesting. But then someone told me it was very Wolf of Wall Street, and I was like, oh my meow, that sounds fantastic. And then there's a review someone gave I trusted, and that review was basically Timothy Chalamet plays one of the most unlikable characters in history of cinema, and I was like, I'm in. I was in straight away. I was like, so this isn't going to be a dull biopic. I'm in. I'm all in, and I'm so glad I went, because this movie is absolutely fantastic. Now, you do have to go for the fact that he literally is the worst, and I'm not saying worst as in like that sort of Community thing, Britta, where like she's awful, but she's also amazing. Like that thing you would call certain people in life the worst, and it will basically go for you're the worst, but also you're the best. This isn't like that. He's literally the worst. He's an awful human being. He's manipulative. He's terrible. He's basically Leo from Wolf of Wall Street amped up. Because while this movie is funny, like, it's not, it's also horrifying. Like, he does so many awful things in pursuit of a goal that doesn't really seem to be possible. Like, he's very, very good ping pong, but he's also an idiot and a con man and a fly ball. So he's constantly antagonizing people who could assist him, and basically ruining so many lives in the process. Like, he ruins the life of Gwyneth Paltrow's character, he ruins his uncle's life, he ruins the life of his best friend, he ruins the life of his love interest. He basically ruins everyone's life. He's just a self-sabotaging guy. In some ways I can relate to that, obviously not to the extent that he does it, because, again, one of the worst characters in history of fiction. But at the same time, Timothée Chalamet is incredible, and he does have chemistry and sort of charisma, which is sort of weird because there's other movies where he doesn't really have that. But I think this is a really apt up version of his work in French Dispatch, where he's playing a revolutionary who didn't really seem to understand what revolution was. And I think this movie, he's goddamn incredible. Like, he's just amazing. And it does make sense of his press tour, because the press tour is clearly him going, I need to get this character out of my system, so I'm going to amp up that aspect of it in promotional tour. And also, by the way, unrelated, he is a huge wrestling fan. And I'm like, I just blows my mind, because I know Matthew McConaughey's gone chat shows and casually talked about it, but no, Timothée Chalamet literally had a full sit down Cody Rhodes. I wasn't just talking about like wrestling in general sense. He was actually talking about specific stuff like ECW One Night Stand, and I was like, this guy, one, he's genuine, because no, I don't care how big wrestling's got nowadays, no like A-list actors, and I would put him in the A-list at this point. No A-list actors just casually talk about it like he did, or even intently. He was genuinely like just foaming at the mouth in terms of how much he's sort of like just blurt out how much he loved, well, at least loved watching wrestling. Whether he watches now or not, I don't know, but. So yeah, that's cool. But yeah, back to the movie. So it's something like when I was watching Smashing Machine, I think, because it's by the other Safdie brother, I think they're going for something similar. Problem is, The Rock was bloody awful in Smashing Machine, and Timothée Chalamet's great in this because he's smart enough knowing that, like, it's not so much that you have to like the character, because I don't think anyone could, but he allows you to actually at least go, we understand why he's doing what he's doing. It's wrong and it's awful, but from his character's perspective, like, he has a goal he wants to achieve. So, you can't condone, but you at least can understand his internal logic, as bad as it is. And it's really, really bad. But it's also just a great movie. It's very much in that sort of Scorsese PTA, especially PTA from his early movies like Boogie Nights and Magnolia, where it's like the movie is not passing judgment on character. It's just, this is a character. These are bad life choices he's making. We're just going to make a really good movie around the outside. And it's really, really, really did feel like Boogie Nights, where I know a lot of complaints are that all the characters are very unlikable, but I'm like, but that's fine. Like, you don't have to like characters. If it's good enough, it'll be fine. Something I did find that bugs me about Brute List is that I didn't like characters, and I also didn't like the movie. But this, I didn't like characters. I love the movie. It's full of enthusiasm. It's taking this thing, pinball, which pinball's big. I'm not going to say it's not big, but I'm saying my experience of it is I don't really have any context for it. So it put me in that mindset where by the time they got to the final match, I was invested to see who won. Like, it was genuinely thrilling to watch. And I think if you can make ping pong thrilling to watch, you got serious directorial talent. So yeah, I'd say this was an outstanding movie. I talked for a lot long about it, but I'm not going to, because I have things I want to talk about in this podcast episode. But yeah, I'd go 5/5. Just flawless movie making. Funny, messed up, brutal, oddly heartwarming. Like, the actual end movie is heartwarming, probably way for me, which might be more than some people, because recent life developments. Not for me, like, in terms of things that people I know, life developments for them, but I'm part of that by proxy. So yeah, it hit me hard, but then sort of hilarious, because it's sort of like you're just thinking, are you, like, for a second I thought, is the movie trying to justify what he's done during this movie to get to this point? And then I thought, no, the movie's just going, it starts in a certain way, ends in a certain way. Everything is before that. It's just like mad and ridiculous and insane. But yeah, no, great movie. I technically saw it at the start of 2026, so I would say my personal money is like within a window of time, when you see a movie is when you see a movie. As this came out at the end of 2025, and I didn't see it to start 2026, I'd say this is my movie of the year so far. So yeah, but I mean, I think Bone Temple might be up there too, but it's a fucking great movie. Definitely go watch it. It's fucking awesome. This match was great. God damn, what a good match. What insane match. Like, really, really good. Like, I enjoyed John Cena's last match against Gunther. I actually just one few people, it seems, who did. But in comparison, I mean, I know obviously John Cena retired at, like, Saturday night's main event. So that wasn't exactly retiring at WrestleMania. But even so, I'm like, I think the thing I love most about this match was it just felt like someone actually going out the way they want to go out, if that makes sense. I know John Cena said that he has no objection to going out against Gunther, but this just makes me think, like, maybe, like, given he put Dom over, maybe they should have had him against one of his rivals like this. Because this was perfect in every conceivable way. Firstly, because Okada brought it. Like, he seriously brought it. And he doesn't always, because he's a very selective guy. At this point in his career, or according to people I know have said he's always been like this, but after his performances towards the Intercontinental Classic, where it was good, he's always good, his baseline for Okada is good, but he wasn't exactly bringing his A-plus game against Moxley. But here he brings it, and I can understand why he was a bit hesitant, because he was sort of like, I'm facing Tanahashi, I'm going to save it all for there. But he was exceptional in this match. I mean, like, this was I hesitate to say carry job, because I think Tanahashi brought everything he could. I think also the fact that Tanahashi's wrestled 138 or 180, whatever. He's wrestled well over 100 matches this year. It's fucking insane. Legitimately mad, considering there's guys like in active, like full-time American wrestling, haven't wrestled anywhere near that. So he's done a banger job this year. But what a match. I mean, it's so great because I don't think the result was ever particularly in doubt. But the way Okada spent most match playing just a complete, the AEW arsehole character he's known for more now, in terms of like relevance and recency. Not relevance, recency. But the way that slowly got chipped away throughout the match, and the way that he could only actually pull the trigger when he actually became the old Rainmaker, it's why I love wrestling. It's so difficult to explain to people how amazing, like, just the work can be sometimes in the most subtle way of possible, where him just changing his pose slightly led the crowd to gasp because they knew the match was done. Like, when full-on Rainmaker Okada comes out, like, that's it. And it's just unbelievable. And Tanahashi, like, what a showing. I mean, seriously, like, that guy brought everything he could to this match. And I gotta be honest, like, I think the reason I loved, like, Japanese, particularly, like, New Japan, and obviously other companies as well, but I'm a particular fan of New Japan, is I love the way the matches are just, like, intricately designed, but they flow perfectly. So basically in this match, like, you get the slow progression, and then it ramps up and ramps up and ramps up to the point where when it got to end stretch, I was actually riveted. I'm not necessarily going to do a full review of Wrestle Kingdom because, I mean, I think it was by nature designed to be a show where this match was the match. I thought Yota versus Konosuke was the finish. The end part was incredible. The fucking blue fun bomb off top rope was actually this nuts. Like, just, oh my god. One of those things where it's like, it was a near fall, but like, it wasn't a bad near fall in terms of sort of like, it should be, I mean, it could have been finished, but just where you get down, it's like, you are really going overboard to get Yosuji top level, you know. But it basically was just this match. And then the parts after it with like the procession of his rivals throughout the years and his friends, and it's just like, it's beautiful, man. Genuinely touching, like actually touching. And I know there's different ways people want to do retirement. I mean, Sting won't do his retirement going through glass. Cena, I think very much wanted to just not be center of attention, just go. But I mean, this Tanahashi, like, yeah, I mean, It's a goddamn likable about the guy. You just want to see him happy. And he seems, I mean, very sad retiring, but he seems good now. And I think it's going to be an incredible boss for New Japan. I think the Wrestle Dash, New Year's Dash that was today, set up some awesome stuff going forward. Like Andrade versus Gabriel Kidd is going to be insane. Ospreay versus Callum Newman and possibly United Empire stuff, because that's sort of when I got into New Japan was when they started redoing like the United Empire stuff. And I remember stuff like Ospreay going, "I'll sacrifice anything to be champion." I remember when he was dating Bea Priestley. Now he's married to Alice Windsor. So, wow, crazy. But I just think this was such a great finale to Tanahashi's career. And I'm not saying like, I'm no expert in New Japan, but I really want to go back and watch some of his stuff, because I really start getting into his particular stuff with his match against Kenny Omega, which was a really, really, really good match. And yeah, I just think like, that's the joy of wrestling, is you get a finale like this, but then you can go back and catch up on what you missed. But fair play to him. I mean, he was exceptional at Yo2 back in August, and it's just mad. I can't believe that I saw like the last match ever in England for Tanahashi, and also saw John Cena's last like championship, like World Championship match at SummerSlam. It's nuts, man. It's just like, and AJ's going to go this year probably, and Kenny Omega's probably going to be going in the next couple of years. Jesus Christ, man. Like, where's the time fucking go? The card is still an asshole, though. So I'm sure you all know WWE had its first Raw of 2026 on Netflix yesterday, and it was premiered in the main event fashion by Bron Breakker versus CM Punk. Now, going into this match, like, standard Raw fun would be Punk's going to win. I mean, logically, because clearly they're beating something Punk at WrestleMania. It probably involves Seth in some way. Probably still involves Vision, but not quite directly. But this just takes me back to 2006, when Edge had his running back cash-in against Cena, and he won. And for 3 weeks, we got to see Edge as champ. And okay, they sort of ended that run a bit early. Ratings went up. But the point was they took a chance on Edge. They still knew what their plans were going forward, but they still took a chance on Edge. They gave him a chance, and it paid off because they had a new main event guy. Now, WWE clearly wants Bron Breakker to be a main event guy, but the problem is, you can't be a main event guy until you beat the main eventers. It's just how it works. Now, yes, the case of Steve Austin, he lost a lot of matches, but he was presented credibly. You believe that he could win matches. I didn't really get a sense watching this match that Bron was being booked to look like an actual threat rather than like, hey, we'll give him a bit of a moment, but in the end, we'll make sure that people know Punk's a bare man. Now, this is symbolic of Triple H's book in general, because he doesn't seem to be able to just pivot. He can't. We saw this earlier this year, last year even. We saw it with the John Cena heel turn, where clearly that wasn't the plan, and they did it anyway. And then The Rock didn't want to be involved. So they thought, well, what do we do now? And it's sort of like, you could literally do anything. And they did nothing. Between Cena turning on Cody, beating Cody, and Cena losing the title to Cody, there was no flow, there was no narrative, it was just a bunch of random shit. And I think that's the problem for Page booking. They knew they wanted Cena to beat Cody. They knew they want Cody to beat Cena. But in between, sure, we got the match with the Randy Orton, and got match CM Punk, and they were both good matches. But there's so much more they could have done. Cena turn heel was literally the modern equivalent of the Hogan heel turn, and it was, I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says, it was. It should have been the biggest moment in history of the company, and it was not. It was a complete mediocre mess. To the extent where Cena turned babyface on short notice and the crowd bought it because they just were sick of him being a heel because it wasn't very good. And it goes further with Triple H. Triple H's problem is not only he can't pivot, but he's so fixated on his stories. The only things that matter are Big Four PPVs. That's all that matters. Yes, you can argue Gunther beat John Cena at Saturday night's main event. And so like, okay, yeah, he did. But Gunther isn't really wrestling. You know, he shows up a bit and that's it. Like, they're not capitalizing on it the way they should. It should be the most serious thing ever. Like, dude retired John Cena. But it's not at all. It's just sort of there, you know? Because Triple H doesn't have anything planned for Gunther. It's like, oh, he's fighting AJ Styles next week, but like, there's been no real storyline in terms of like straight away that should rot foundations of WWE, and it doesn't. And it goes back to Braun versus Punk. Why didn't Braun win for a few weeks? What would be harming that? Maybe he sees his champ. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe you know. Maybe he crumbles under pressure. You don't know till you give him a chance. No, he's got to be credible, and he's not. It's the same thing with Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns, but has Bronson Reed really gained anything from it? No, because there's no real point to it. No, there's no real point. It's just Roman Reigns will come back and get his win back. That's it. And that's Space Triple H in 2026. He can't book this stuff. And it goes further, because you watch something like Tanahashi vs. Okada, which was everything Cena vs. Gunther should have been. Dramatic, brutal, intense, incredibly good match. And it just makes you think, like, what is Triple H doing? Because he used to be good. Like, back in the start of his tenure, you know, as taking over creative company, he was great. Like, you got Imperium come back, you got Riddle versus Steph, which was a new feud. You got that, I mean, okay, Riddle kind of flaked out, but that's neither here nor there. You got Sheamus versus Gunther. You got Return Bray Wyatt, and it's slowly gone to crap. So, yeah, I was not impressed with this at all. You know my favourite thing about Avengers Doomsday? It's all the goddamn complaints. Yes, people complaining up the wazoo again. Oh, they're bringing Chris Evans back. Oh no, he's a good actor, bring him back. Oh no, they haven't done anything with these other characters who we haven't seen in for the movies because we didn't go to cinema and thusly box office dropped. But damn it, they should do more of them. Oh no, they're focusing on the original Avengers in trailers. Oh no, oh wait, they're focusing on the dude from James Marsden from the X-Men movies. Oh, he's back. Oh, why are they focusing on him? And it's like, what exactly are you complaining about now? Are you actually generally complaining that we're going to get a movie with possibly every big name Marvel character and actor over the last 30 goddamn years? Is that what people are actually complaining about now? That we're actually going to get a movie with the Fox X-Men who look like they might be based on the goddamn cartoon version, so hybrid version of that. Are you upset that we're getting those characters and the core Avengers and the new Avengers in the same goddamn movie, and possibly both Spider-Men, the other Spider-Men, and Garfield and Tobey Maguire, and maybe more characters? Maybe we'll get more characters, but is that what people are generally complaining about? That we're going to get a movie for every goddamn character that Marvel has? Because that is literally what Secret Wars was designed to do. It was not designed to be a compelling, brilliant narrative. It was designed to be this character and that character and this character and that character punching each other and then punching a villain. That's what it was about. Why can't we just be happy? Why can't we just be happy? And look, here's the simple truth. If you wanted the goddamn new characters to succeed, you would have gone to cinema to see them, because they're literally made movies for years. They made The Eternals, you didn't go see it. They made Shang-Chi, some people went to see it. They made The Marvels with 2 new female superheroes, you didn't go and see, and it was actually a nice movie. The movies you went go and see, Deadpool and Wolverine, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man. You didn't go see Captain America. You've literally gone to see every goddamn movie focusing on multiverse. Those are the ones which make money. And now you're upset because this movie focusing on multiverse has returning people in it. You've told them this is what you want. And now you're like, we don't want it. Well, you should have seen the movies which came out, goddamn it. Anyway, this was awesome. So, I'm in good form.